What is up, everybody? Circon is here bringing you guys another video, and this one I promised to do on Friday, as in I promise on Friday that I'll do it in the weekend. And that is literally taking a look at what is coming, what is in the next patch, what are the changes, and we're just gonna go over the stats, go over the patch notes, stuff like that. It's not gonna be any replay or anything like that, so you know this is the perfect video to have in the background, unless you want to see all the models of the tanks and stuff like this. So yeah, let's get right into it. As you can see, I just brought up the patch notes here, the common test ones. I'll put a link in the description below as well if you want to do some light reading after as well. So what is happening? There's a new grand battle map, which is really weird because they said that they were not making any new maps because of the high definition maps, and then they give us a grand battle map. Like, I'm not sold on grand battles at all. I'll get into that into you know, another topic, but I don't like grand battles at all. The new map doesn't strike me as the best map ever, and my FPS personally on my rig was tanking hard on that map. I think even harder than the other grand battle because obviously there's more tanks and everything. So yeah, it was tanking like a motherfucker. The new map doesn't look that great to me. People that actually play grand battles will probably give you a better indication of it though. So this is also good. I haven't really checked this out myself, but these are 12 maps where boosting is hopefully being negated again. So they're terrain-related changes for difficult to access areas on the following maps. I'm pretty sure this is anti-boosting on these 12 maps. So hopefully boosting is gone forever. Because by God, I hate it. Anyway, so that's good. That's good news. All right, now let's get into the more juicy stuff. So the T-28 increased the side armor from 50 to 101 millimeter. This is huge for armor's sake, because now it can actually kind of like side scrape and not get overmatched as easily. So if we take a look here at the tier ATD for the USNA, the T-28, it also got a shiny new HD model and a new icon, of course, to go with it. So it looks really freaking cool now. Let's see, I think it was visual. There we go. All right, so this transformer thing does not come with it. But as you can see, it is a new model. It looks really dope in game. Nothing got changed otherwise, so with the HD model, nothing got changed. It's literally just the hull armor getting this 101.6, which is good against overmatching, of course. Right, next up is that the Badger is going to replace the Death Star. And, you know, this is the perfect time. Let's talk about the Badger. So, as many of you will know, the Death Star that is from the UK is, of course, a really weird one. Why is this not here? Oh, hello? Hello! The Badger. The FE-217 Badger, the British tank destroyer. 3,700 base DPM without any shenanigans. If we add rows and arms to that, we're gonna add, let's see, the food, and of course we can add vents and a gun rammer, and we'll probably run optics on it. That doesn't matter for DPM though. We're at almost 4,600. There's one more thing you can do to this, and that is the bond equipment. And I think if you have everything, that's almost 4,800 DPM, which is insane. Of course, this is replacing the Death Star. So if you want the Death Star, the original Death Star, that is going away next patch. So I want to start grinding your tortoise and everything now, and go get it, because then you get the Badger for free, and you get to keep the Death Star, of course, and all your camo and everything. It's the same as with the Foch. We know the spiel by now. So this tank is pretty freaking insane. Obviously, this is done because going from a Tortoise and that entire line, which is high armor, low maneuverability, high DPM guns, low alpha, going from that to the Death Star tier 10 never made a lot of sense, right? So they put in the Badger, which is a direct upgrade over the Tortoise, with the same kind of, you know, thing to it. Top speed not too high. It has insane DPM, even more than the Tortoise, which was the previous record holder. It has 10 degrees of gun depression, which is really nice. And if we take a look at the armor here, just straight on, no angling, 320, 330, 350, and this 300 lower plate is the one and only weak spot, and that even the weak spot is not that weak. As you can see as well, You'll see it better like this. If you the armor on the side here, the sides of the lower plate are really good. You have to hit the middle of the lower plate, which is annoying because that's, you know, also where the gun is. So if we take a look at the visual model, hopefully this is not borked. There you go. So it's really hard to see, but you can see the armor difference. It starts with these little things here. I'm not sure what they're used for. I'm not gonna even pretend to know what they are. Starting here, this is no longer really a weak spot. This is the real weak spot underneath here. And even then, you need about 220 pen on average for the lower plate. Now, of course, it does not have a turret, and the gun defense is actually really freaking good as well. Look at this corner. That is pretty insane, right? So you really, really need to tackle this not head on. You need to track it, you need to get around it. That's all you can really do, as if I found fighting these things. It also has the 102 side armor. You need to go around it, you need to track it twice, and you need to kill it. You need to take full advantage of it not having a turret. Don't even pretend that you can take a hit because the alpha is low, because it will shoot you so many times in the face before you get around it. And to be honest, I've killed these things on the test server on grand battles by literally going around it in the new French heavies. So it's not impossible, but if you meet this guy head on when it's hull down on a ridgeline with minus 10 degrees, imagine the ridgeline is here, anything you can hit is 300 to 400, it's insane. The gun melee is not really a weak spot. It's insanity. If this thing is hull down, you're fucked, right? So it's insane. What can I say? I think it's probably too good. It has 2100 health, which is, you know, whatever. Fuel range is fine with vents and optics and everything. That's with food as well. Yeah, first speed of 12. That's why you need to kill it. And also, of course, if you can shoot through the tracks, you hit the hull as well. The tracks are not like extending. Well, they are actually a little bit, but as you can see here, if you can't really zoom in. Oh, can I? I can. Wow, technology. So yes, you can see here. This is not a good shot. You need to hit it like here because of the angling. You know, there's nothing behind here. So this thing is gonna be an utter beast if this thing gets away unscathed. If you can't get close to this, you're fucked. It's insane. It's an insane tank. And a lot of people are saying, what do you think about the tank? And honestly, it is insane. Like, if you need to be up close, you need to get around it. You cannot kill it frontally. You just can't, right? I think it's a little bit too insane, if you ask me. The thing is, if you give it a tortoise weak spot, like give it a little cupola up top here, then, you know, would it be instantly really bad? Like, I don't know. I almost prefer it had like a little weak spot on the middle of the tank, so it would be the same around every corner or something like that. But like, it's a really hard one because then you almost automatically invalidate the tank. But to be honest, giving it more health maybe, and then like a weak spot on top of the turret or top of the tank, something like that would might have been good. I personally think it's a little bit too good, and it is. I will say though, this tank is insanely good against the heavy tank meta. Because like by E100 and all that, you know, tanks that are too slow to get around it, and you can just keep pumping shots into their faces with like 320 pen if you wanted to, or 272, 480 alpha. It even has 130 hash pen with 620 damage, which means you can one-shot every artillery in the game, which is nice once you finally get there with your 30km top speed. So am I happy with this tank? I mean, you know, yes and no. I think it's going to be horrible if you're going to see a lot of these. Playing them yourself will be okay-ish. I mean, I'm more of a fast tank player kind of guy. But we'll have to see. We need to see it in the live server. I think it's really hard to judge on the test server because there's always gold flying, and gold shooting TDs will shoot through you, right? A Yak Panzer will shoot you here. Also, it's another thing to note: don't shoot the top part of the tank. Shoot the mid part, or of course the lower plate. But yeah, pretty insane. Something for the UK people to look forward to, right? All right, the Tortoise got changed as well. There's a bunch of reload times here, but the most important part here is the hull armoring got changed. So if we go to the tanks, tier 9 TDs, UK, and then we have the Tortoise. And then I wonder if I can actually compare this to the, yes I can. So we should take the normal one, the one that's gonna be on the, that's gonna come in from the test server, and we're gonna compare it hopefully to the regular server now, which is that one. I don't know if I can do the armor. I can't. Rip. So basically all the armor on all the tier 9 on all the British TDs that lead up to the new battery tank are upgraded. So if we take a look here, it now has 167 on the roof. I thought it was actually better than that. Let me redo this just to be sure that I have what I want. Yeah, there we go. So they're very vague about what they say. Increased hull armoring, right? They don't really give specifics. Basically, the armor all across the board got better. It still has the weak spot up top, of course, but you have to aim a little bit better because the sides and everything is a lot better. So you have to hit it right in the like right in the little guns here. Well, let me zoom in. You have to hit it right in here where the machine guns are sticking out. That's still a weak spot, and this is no longer a really weak spot. I don't even know. I thought it was. The machine gun port on the side here used to be a weak spot. I'm pretty damn sure. But now it seems to be about 270. So pretty much insane lower plate. Doesn't really have one. So you have to hit it up top. And you have to hit the roof. But I mean, the armor is now so good that it will be a ricochet if you don't have enough caliber. Probably not even sure that it can actually be overmatched. So the armor got pretty much insane. And the damage went up on the stock guns and stuff like that. So increased armoring, pretty good. So the same goes for the 1815, the 82, the 88, the 87. They all got better armor, except for the 82. Actually, he got decreased at tier 5, which I think is good because like that tank was just kind of like so good in the armor department that you just had some crazy games where you won 1 versus 11 at tier 5 because you meet a lot of tier 4s and 3s, or not even tier 3s anymore. And you would just win because people can't pen at those tiers. It's just ridiculous, right? So I don't really care about that. The 87, 88 got buffed, which is good. 1815 got buffed in the hull as well, which is nice. So yeah, that's good. What? Oh, I almost looked over this one. The Churchill gun carrier, all right? The 32 pounder got 8.5 to 9.5. The pen went up. The 32 pounder, the pen of the normal shell went up as well, and then the damage went from 370 to 330 to 370. So the damage went up, but the reload went up together with it. So you will have higher alpha. You don't have to peak. You know, you peak for more damage, which is good. You know. It's a good buff. So yeah, the whole armoring 88, 87, they should be pretty good now. Let's take a look here. Public test, UK 87. So let me open this again, but on the current server, 3D model. And if we take this, look at the 3D model as well. So if we look dead on here, you can see already the color difference is insane. So it has effective armor. This is the tier 7. It's like 200, 212, 230. You know, no real weak spots. You have to remember it's a tier 7. So, and then we have the things up top. And then compared to this, it's insane, right? We go from 100, 127, 136, 104. We go to 164. 203, 203. So yeah, these things versus tier 5s and 6s will be pretty beast. Tier 7s will, you know, you need basically a tiger gun to get through these reliably, which is honestly quite insane. And it kind of comes back to the thing with the badgers that you have to basically get around them now. You can't just shoot them in the face. Obviously the cupola is still a weak spot, but this is kind of being hidden by the other cupolas that are decently armored. Like, you might think 204 is not much, but you have to realize tier 7, boys. So yeah, those things, they didn't get changed at all, except for the hull armoring. So they didn't get any gun buffs or anything like that. And honestly, they had pretty decent guns, let's be real. So yeah, that's really freaking good. If you want to compare another one, another one. Public test, full tank list. Take a look at the tier 8 TD, the 1815, and we'll do the same here at tier 8 TD UK, 1815 as well, and then a 3D model, 3D model. So yeah, about that weak spot that is in the turret. Basically, the 1815A did not have it. The premium was already fixed this way, I believe. And then if you compare it to this, you should have, you know, as you can see, effective armor 127, 280. Quite insane. I think this armor is mostly the same right up front. But as you can see, the turret, or not the turret, I keep saying turret, it's not a turret. The cupola got, you know, HDified basically, and it has way more layers of armor instead of just shit. Basically, 127 to nothing, and now it has actually parts of that are well armored. So you have to aim a lot better at these cupolas now. Again, if we take a look at the visual, you have to hit it in the machine gun ports. So that's a nice thing that goes across everything now. Like the Tortoise, the Badger, and 1815, 1815A, you have to hit this part where the guns are sticking out. If you hit either the sides or anything, you can see the armor gets insane. It's like, 127 or 539, you know, stuff like this. So I'm thinking this is all fine. I think these buffs are fine. These things were pretty much a joke in the armor department, especially with the heavy tank meta, and of course not having a turret either, blah blah blah. I mean, these changes were fine, right? For the Tortoise, I think as well, but especially the 1815 and the tier 7 and 6 as well. So I'm glad to see these changes. This is good. You know, are these going to be insanely powerful now? I mean, they're still limited to what they can do. So yeah, I'm actually fairly glad for this. And yeah, this line should be a lot stronger because of this. And it, like I said, they didn't buff the gun or anything to any insane degrees. Literally just the armor, making it actually useful instead of just dead weight. Anyway, the other important thing is that the French got all the new tanks, and I already gave you guys a preview of that. Also, side note, Type 61 got, like, the gun depression got nerfed when it looks backwards. It's like, whatever, dude. You're not gonna notice this if you're gonna play normally. So, having said that, let's just take a look. Right, so for the French, we have the 3 new tanks. But we can now finally look at the armor layout, which is something we could not do before. I have to put it at the right patch, the 9.21. And then we have the 65T, which is the 5120 hull, and then a weird turret, basically. So now we finally can see what kind of armor do we actually have. Again, side striping capabilities, not great. Not great, you know. Sights are only 80. It has a 5120 hull, I'm pretty sure, which is, you know, nothing great. You might bounce tier 7 mediums. You will bounce tier 6 mediums with average normal ammo, but like, can you rely on it? Not really. Turret, so this is what I was really curious about. How good is this cupola? Dead on, it's about 203, 220, so it's decent, but not great. Let me see how it goes when we have full-on gun depression memes. It's still relatively, yeah, 226 to 223. So yeah, you know, being top tier, this turret can bully. You know, we can bully with this 270, 339, 338. That's kind of the stuff we're talking about. If you look upwards, does this become a weak spot? Oh, it actually does. Let's see how that looks on the visual model. So this is kind of a weak spot, but yeah, I have to look upwards and shit. If you're dead onto it, it might still be a weak spot. Let's see here. Let's see. That's a really weird weak spot. So yeah, you can actually hit this. This is why armor value, like seeing these things, is really important. Everything else though is, you know, good armor. The thing up top here is also a weak spot, but it's not very noticeable. You have to really, like, if you're gonna aim for this, you might as well aim for all these things. This is not as a reliable pen. This is probably the most reliable. If you have 220 pen and up, you know, that's decent, right? And it's absolutely decent. All right, so side armor, like I said, is 80. You can't really side stripe with it. yeah, what can I say? Are these tanks gonna be good like a tier 8? The tier 8 felt a little bit lackluster. The one thing that's insane, and I haven't actually addressed this, is that the pen gets insane. 325 on APCR and only 218 on the AP. So this tank, I'm just like, what are we doing here, right? This, I don't think it's gonna be a super bad tank or anything, but it's not gonna be insane, right? You're not gonna see people playing these for days because it's so much fun, right? However, at tier 9, we have my favorite tank from the new patch. It's not the Badger. It's not any of the new buff tanks or anything like that. It is the M4 MLE 51. Now this tank, as far as I can tell, is awesome. It's like a French Conqueror. The gun handling is awesome. I used the other gun, the 120, which, you know, DPM kind of lacking, but damn, dude, you have nice aiming time, nice dispersion. You have really good, you know, dispersion on moving the tank traverse, turret traverse after firing, stuff like this is really, really nice. You have nice shell velocity on the AP, and then you also have a ridiculous 325 pen on the APCR, and you have 257 on the AP, which is more than enough at tier 9, because you're going to be fighting tier 7s and 8s a lot. So it has 180 hull armor, 300 turret, and sights are really bad. The hull is only 60, and the turret sights is only 80. And if you didn't know what this thing looks like, it has a gigantic turret. Like, it's ridiculously big. It's like M103 levels, right? Even longer. It's even worse than M103, I'd say. This turret. On the sides, let's say. And because it's sticking out so much, you have to be really careful on how you angle this tank. Luckily, the job is kind of done for you in the how to angle this tank department. Because basically, you don't. Just like the tier 8 premium French with actual armor. The name escapes me, I think it's the 40AT or something. You literally don't want to angle this tank. Because once you do, you expose your sight, you expose your tracks, you expose your turret. It's no bueno, right? You want to see this thing as a battering ram. You go up close, you might want to angle like a slight pixel, and that's about it, right? You want to do this. And then look forward a little bit like that. Sorta, kinda, sorta. This is kind of what you want to do. And then your armor is still really, really nice against mediums and heavies of the same tier. You know, the moment they start spamming heat though, you're a little bit in trouble. TDs at tier 9 will also just shoot through your hull if they're smart about it. There's no real visual cues here for weak spots. You also have to be careful of the little side armor here, because once you peek a corner, this is only 180. So that's another thing why you should not angle. But if you're top 3 in a 357 matchmaking, which is awful, really bad matchmaking, this tank will just wreck, right? No one will have an easy time penning you. Because the one thing I was worried about is that the lower plate is actually not that bad at all. It's like 250 is not even a weak spot. So we'll have to see how it goes. I feel like this thing might be a little bit too good, just because like tier 9 is such a good tier to be in, and there's no tier 7 that's gonna pen you frontally ever unless they hit your cupola. But the meme is, if you're fully gun depressed, which I think is 8 if I'm not mistaken, let me just fact check a little bit. Yep, it's 8. So if you're fully gun depressed and you're on a ridge line or anything like that, the moment you start depressing your gun, look at the weak spot here, and it's gone. Goodbye. Good night. It was great. Good luck petting this tank. Like, these things, hold down, beast mode. Absolute beast mode. Much like the Conqueror. Once you hide the little weak spots, you know. And just like the Conqueror, it has the weak side armor. So the moment you kind of start getting overrun or anything like that, you're in deep shit, right? You also have to be really worried about artillery. You have to be worried about T-49 spamming you with HE in the sights, all that good stuff. Even if you're fighting another MLE 51, you could actually kind of meme with the sight, because it's 65 pen on the HE. It's kind of a risky move, but you will do, how much damage was this? Like 515 average with this gun. The other one goes even higher than that. And of course the back, only 40. Like, everyone will pen you here, and you have to be super careful with your turret. Literally a battering ram. Go hold down, don't even try to angle, pretty straight fucking forward, A highly enjoyable gun to shoot as well. I did not like the 127mm at all. 120mm is where it's at for me personally. Awesome tank. I wish I had a bit more fuel range though. And like I said, in a lot of ways, kind of like a French Conqueror that trades a little bit DPM for better hull armor because you don't have the lower plate, right? So on to the tier 9, or sorry, the tier 10, I should say, which is pretty much the same tank. It just gets a little bit bigger boomsticks as the 130 or the 120. On this, again, I prefer the 120mm. The 130 has some merits because you can overmatch a lot more, but the armor goes up to 220 now, the hull, which means that a lot of tanks are gonna have issue pinning you. Still 40 kilometers an hour, like it's mostly the same speed. You look extremely similar as well. I kind of wish this tank was a little bit more unique because these in the tier 9 look so similar. But you can see that the lower plate is bigger or something like that, but it's absolutely not a weak spot. Hull armor, insanity. Again, you do not want to angle because the moment you angle, you fuck yourself over. And again, you have to be careful of the big turret. You have to be careful to hide your tumor of up top there, which is really easy to pen. Even for tier 8, but again, once you go hull down, it is good night, good night, good night. Like you're never gonna pen this thing ever. So this might be kind of annoying to play against because like once you find a tank like this, much like the Badger, there's not much you can do except run away, hide, do something else, or you have to overrun it and track it. The main disadvantage, of course, is that the DPM on these tanks is really low. So there is chance to put 2 shots into these tanks before they can shoot once, you know what I mean? They shoot you once and you shoot them. Almost a lot of tanks will out DPM you and will shoot you again or out trade you or anything like that. So you have to be really careful with that. But I think especially the tier 9 is gonna be freaking awesome. Alright, so that's the new patch. There's a lot of HD models as well, but I mean, I'm not gonna look at all of them. The ST1 is the most noticeable one. Actually got slightly nerfed in the turret armor department and no other changes. It looks cool, but it actually got nerfed, so it's a bit sad. A bit of a sad day. Anyway, I think I've been rambling on for more than enough. I'll put the link in the description below as well. Like I said, you guys wanted to see a video like this, so here it is. I will provide. But yeah, that's it for me. If you enjoy these kind of videos, let me know. If you do not enjoy these kinds of videos, let me know. I want to see feedback in the comment section, boys, if you want to see more like this. And yeah, got more videos coming up. If you haven't checked the videos yet of this weekend, you should, because it is the tier 9 French heavy, and amongst a whole spate of other replays as well. So yeah, anyway, my name was Circleflexes. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.